friends, welcome or welcome back. My name is Chelsea. Today we are going to talk about 2026 reading goals. It's always fun at the beginning of the year to make some reading goals, some lofty ambitions that we will not meet. Even though historically I have not met my yearly reading goals that often, I still like making them because I think it helps me stay on track. At the end of 2024, our house was hit by Hurricane Helene, and it was what they call catastrophic loss, which means that the house is not livable. So we were living in a camper in my driveway, and for the entire year, our house was under construction. And in fact, it's actually not done yet. We still have a room that needs to be fixed, which is the room that had all of my built-in bookshelves in it. And then at the end of November, we lost my dad. So in 2025, I did not have any reading goals. I had a number goal I wanted to reach, which was 80 books, but I didn't prioritize anything else. And usually I prioritize a few things. I don't go overboard, but I had like no guidance. And really, almost all of my books were in storage. I had maybe 20 books that I kept out and put in the camper, but everything was in storage. I was overwhelmed all the time managing the construction. So I just kind of went all over the place with my reading. And when I was looking back at what I had read this year, or what I had read in 2025, I didn't really love much of anything that I read. Most of it was kind of middle of the road. And I think that was a combination of just where my life was at the time and listening to audiobooks primarily. But this year, we are going to have a few more reading goals. Again, I don't go overboard because this is supposed to be fun. And I want to read what I want to read. I don't want to pigeonhole myself into certain categories and types of books. So first off, I want to read 80 books this year. That is what I'm setting my Storygraph to. However, I am really, really, really hoping to exceed that this year. I think it's doable because I read 82 books in 2025. And in August, I only read one novella. So I think if I had not been going through much personal stuff in my life, I would have exceeded 80 books. So 80 books, very doable. But I am secretly hoping, I'm not going to put it down on paper, so don't pressure myself, but I am secretly hoping that I get past 80. I want to read more of my physical TBR. I don't generally have a problem with having a large physical TBR. I think it's fine mostly because it would just be sad to not have any books to read. There are some books that I buy just because I like the cover, or it's an older series and I come across book 3 and I grab it, hoping I'm going to eventually come across books 1 and 2 and read those. The series maybe isn't on Libby. I don't want to purchase it new, or you can't purchase it new. So there are books that I own that I am not getting to anytime soon. But they're there in the hopes that one day I will. However, I have 200 and I believe 206 unread books that I physically own. Not even ebooks, not audiobooks, physical books. I would like to get that down to maybe 50. That is not going to happen in 2026. It'll probably take me a couple of years, but my end goal is 50 unread books on my shelves. So we're prioritizing the physical TBR this year. Also because I want to read less audiobooks. They're rarely slam dunks for me. They're usually middle of the road, or I did not like the book. There's just something about physically holding a book that works better for me. So prioritizing my physical TBR so I can physically read the book and just kind of get that physical TBR down so that I don't feel guilty when I go buy a new book. The next couple, I have 2 more goals, and they're more about the way I read. The first one is, and I feel a little conflicted about this one because I'm such a completionist. I would like to get better at DNFing books. Maybe. I don't know. I have a really hard time DNFing a book. It's easier for me to DNF a series, but DNFing a book is really hard for me. If I can only think of a couple of books that I just DNF'd. One of which was the second Wheel of Time book. But I have to really, really, really not like the book to DNF it. When something's just, it's okay, I just keep going because, I don't know, it bothers my brain to not finish it. So I would like to learn how to DNF. I would probably get through more books if I DNF'd. At least, physical books I own, I'd be like, okay, this isn't for me, and I can move on. But DNFing. And the second one is, I would like to critically think more about what I'm reading so that I can be better at reviewing books. For the most part, I kind of just go off of vibes. Like, I like it, I don't like it. I'm pretty easy to please when it comes to books. I don't need it to be amazing writing, but books that are well written and have compelling characters tend to get higher up on my lists of things that I like. But sometimes I cannot pinpoint why a book didn't work for me, why I didn't like it. Like, I didn't like Addie LaRue. And yeah, that's a slow book, and all we're doing is following her story, and it's not very fantastical, but there are books I can think of that were slow, that were just a character study, that weren't very fantastical, that I liked fine. And I would recommend to people. So I need to get better about kind of pinpointing what is working for me in a story, what isn't working for me in a story, why I liked something, why I didn't. And that will help me do videos for you guys when I talk about the books I've read, and also making recommendations for books that I think are really good. So getting better at critically thinking about the book that I'm reading. And one thing that I think is helping with this is the buddy reading that I'm doing with a friend, because we're stopping every 10 chapters to discuss. So having somebody else to bounce that off of might help me better figure out what works for me. But I think 2026 is going to be a really good year. I have a lot of books planned to read that come very highly recommended, that were very popular last year. I'm feeling really motivated to get these books read. Please tell me what are your 2026 reading goals. Maybe I'll add a few to this list. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.